Here with head coach Nick Smith from women's soccer. We're going to start off with something fun. It's when I say a person's name, the first word that comes to your mind, you're going to just say that word. All right? Kiana.
Midfielder.
Elena.
Midfielder.
Taylor.
Leader.
Shelby.
Resilient.
Avery.
Worker.
Hannah.
Hannah Kyle.
Yeah, Hannah.
Consistent.
Kirsten.
Goal scorer.
Naya.
Playmaker.
All right. So obviously you kind of have an interesting past, and so like when it comes to from an outsider's perspective, you know, you lived in Hawaii, you were a lawyer, like had all the things, and yet you chose to coach women's or coach soccer. Why?
It's a passion. I have always had soccer a part of my life, even going through the other areas. And when I was practicing law, eventually there came a point where I had to give up the soccer side of things. And when it was missing in my life, it felt like something was truly missing. And I know what work is. I feel really fortunate to do what I do. I don't feel like I work. I love coming into the office. I love getting on the field with the team. And I'm so blessed and fortunate that my job, the way that I get to provide for my family, is kicking a ball around for fun outside. I don't know that there is a better job for me, but this is what I'm meant to do. And I know that through time and through experience, and it's irrelevant for all the places that I've been, the other things that I've done. This is why I'm here. This is my purpose.
You guys had a lot of success last season, breaking records, and obviously won the first national tournament game in the program's history. How do you guys kind of keep moving forward and not only meet outside expectations but surpass them? Yeah,
I think it's good that we took a step last year and we set some records, and I think the big one for us is winning the national tournament game. The idea for us is that's a platform and a benchmark to use as a starting point moving forward. I also think we as a group right now should remain and are very hungry to finish some business on the GPAC side of things. And so it's great to have the success at the national level, but at the end of the day, you know, we want to be the best ones in our own backyard. And we still have some tasks to complete when it comes to that. So I think it's a good spot for us. It's a good situation as to where we're sitting right now, because we still have goals that are really out there and obtainable for us to go and get, and things that we haven't done as a program. And so it doesn't matter for all the players that are returning from last year. There are still things that we want to accomplish that we haven't yet. And so it's about remaining hungry. It's about remaining humble, and something that we talk about as a team. I think it's hard to reach the level that we did last year. It's hard to win a national tournament game. What's harder is doing it again, and to maintain being at that level over time. And so really asking the experienced group that we have coming back to remain hungry and to continue wanting to push really what the boundaries and the levels of what this program can accomplish. And I'm happy with where we're starting right now, but we have a long way to go ultimately for what we want to accomplish this year.
You guys returned 9 of 11 starters, 7 all GPAC. What advantage does that give in the day-to-day practices and workouts, but also in the upcoming games?
Yeah, so in training it's great because we know we have a good level that we're training against. And so for all the new players to see sort of how they stack up against what that returning level is, it's a really good litmus test to see where we are as a team right now as we're working through preseason and still trying to figure out different players in different spots and roles. To be able to have that type of level and experience returning to us is great for the day-to-day and the training, and they're also then great humans and examples for the incoming group players to model themselves after, and as people to model themselves after. I think when we're looking forward in terms of sort of what the expectation is within that group, I think the leadership out of that group, then it has to be the thing that's really the calling card. And so last year, I think as a team, we went through some growing pains trying to replace a Grace Sankson. This year, the change is much different. I think we had leadership evolve over the course of last season, and we're still looking for that leadership to grow within the rising senior group, but it's more about refining what that leadership looks like rather than finding the true voice that was going to replace Grace for us last year. So really pleased with having that type of experience come back. I think that helps set a really good standard and a really good framework for what the year is going to, what the year could potentially be for us this year.
The non-conference schedule doesn't look easy. What are some advantages of scheduling a grueling like non-conference like USAO and Columbia and all the national tournament teams?
Yeah, that's the level that we aspire to be at. And so I think the only way that you really get to that point is by consistently testing yourself at the level. It's possible for us to go get 6 or 7 games that could be relatively easy in our non-con and boost our win total. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about being in the middle of November or into December, the prep work isn't there then for ultimately what you are going to be facing. And so when we're scheduling a tough non-con, it is forward thinking. We do want to get tested early on. We do want to see what that level looks like early on. But when we get into the business end of the season, we will have known that we will have played teams that are at that level already. And so I think it helps with the long-term preparation. And again, too, when you're talking about new players coming in, you want to test them and you want to have them experience what that level looks like in non-cons before you get into really meaningful GPAC games or you really get into national tournament games. So I think it's good prep, and that's the way we'll continue doing things moving forward as well.
Yeah, you guys have gotten second in conference the past couple years. Preseason poll second. What gives you the confidence that you could reach the pinnacle of the conference and finally get the GPAC championship?
It's the group that we have. I think the rising senior group is going to be a class that will be one of the best that's ever come through the Concordia women's soccer. One of the main things that they've not done is win anything in GPAC yet as a group, and so. Relying on some of the experience that we've had the last couple of years and some of the success that we've had the last couple of years. Now it's about still pushing on and trying to take that final step. 2 second place finishes is great, but you're still finishing in second place. And ultimately here, we're here to be competitive and we're here to win things. So those second place finishes are a good step for where the program is headed, but ultimately everyone in that locker room is aware as to what our goals are. And everyone right now is working to bring some of those goals into fruition.
With leaders like Kirsten, Naya, Taylor, and more coming back, what does that free up for you schematically and also knowing that you have experienced and veteran players all over the field?
It's great to have a spine of players that are really experienced and a spine of players on the field that I think want to embrace leadership roles. That allows us to be really good in games, to have players on the field that can help us work through problems as problems arise. Because in every game, there's going to be breakdowns. In every game, something is going to go wrong. So it's great to be able to have and to be able to rely on a group of players that has seen everything before and has gone through tough times before and has helped each other work through that. To be able to have a consistent spine of that leadership through the team then also really helps the transition for the new players that are getting used to the level and getting used to what it is to be a Bulldog and part of this program.
So you guys have been in fall camp for practices and also had a scrimmage. What have you learned about your team so far?
That we're in a good spot, but we've got a long way to go. We've got a group right now that I think is working really hard. I think we have a group right now that wants to be competitive with each other every day on the training field, which is important. We're in a bit of some transitioning right now within the group in terms of maybe players and personnel on the field, and so there's growing pains that come along with that, and that is to be expected. But I think we're sitting in a spot right now where I'm excited about this upcoming season. I think we've got a ton of talent. I think we're deeper than we've ever been since I've been here. And the hope is that we can put everything together and that starting next week here when these games come thick and fast that we're ready to go and ready to compete.
Yeah. Obviously, you have a lot of new players. What have you seen from some of them and just the ability to make the early impact? If you obviously you probably can't name every one of them, but just what are some ones that have made an impact so far?
Yeah, we've had some players that are new to us this fall that have come in right away and hit the ground running. And I think it's even caused some of the returners and some of the established returners to maybe feel like my spot is maybe being threatened right now, which is great. I want to have that internal competition. I think you're going to see a freshman class this year be 5 or 6 strong in terms of impactful, in terms of getting minutes that are on the field. I think you've got an Abby Haynes, who I think is going to be a consistent goal threat. I think a Lupe Sanchez, who's a very different player to Abby, but also is going to be a consistent threat going to goal. I think you've got a McKenna West, who's going to play probably in an attacking center mid position for us this year, and she's been really creative, and I think she's come in also and has performed at the level, and maybe at a level that we're sort of exceeded the expectations as to where our expectations for her are. And then you've got a Charlie and an Evie, who both sitting in midfield for us and have been really good. I think the transition they've made to college life has been really seamless. And so then we've got some other players who are also making really strong gains in terms of adapting well into the college world. Like I said, I'm excited about what that group is. And then we're also bringing in a couple transfers who have college experience. And they both have been really good. And so they're players who are going to be a little bit more senior within the group because of the college experience that they're bringing. But I think the impact that they've had also, this is Joey and Aaliyah, have been really, really good for the group.
You're known by your players, and I would say at this point by the staff in athletics department as a film junkie. What does watching film do for you as a coach and for your players?
It's the perspective. So hindsight's 20/20. So to be able to rewatch everything and all the decisions that you make in a game, it's just an incredible opportunity to learn from your decision making. And I think the great tool that we get from watching film is the ability to have an effect and have an impact on decision making and the speed of decision making for players. And the best example for a player to watch is themselves. Because they're the ones where they know how it feels in the game, they know where they're feeling pressure and when they're feeling not, and I think film is a really good opportunity for you to be able to slow things down for them and to really make obvious examples of where our decision making can improve. I think the IQ side of the game is one where I want our team to consistently be trying to push the envelope, trying to consistently get yourself to be a better IQ player. The more film you watch, the more you're learning that way, the better your IQ is. And the better your IQ, the quicker you're making the right decisions in games. The quicker we can make those decisions in games, good outcomes come for us.
As a person who played in the midfield, the position is so difficult for soccer fans who don't know that much about the game. What would you describe as like a good midfielder, but also who is, or what was your favorite formation as a player when you played for midfield?
So when I played, I think it was a little bit more old school, and everyone sort of did the same 4-3-3. United States Soccer at that time came out and said that basically all youth soccer should be in a 4-3-3, and that was kind of the way things went. And so as a midfielder, you're either playing as one or two in that set, and I was typically the isolated one. And for me, what I loved playing in midfield because you just got to control everything. So if you're talking about other sports, it's sort of like the point guard or the quarterback being in a midfield position. Everything sort of runs through you, and you get to be the one that's dictating the tempo for your team. We're going to go quick, we're going to go slow. But then you're also always involved. So you do the work on the front end, you do the work on the back end, and that constant involvement, that constant engagement for me was one of the things that I relished about being on the game. I always wanted the ball, I always wanted the responsibility, and that's something that we ask our center mids in this team to do too. And that is a reason why we try and get as many center mids on the field as we can. Those are the players that typically are capable of doing everything. They can do the defensive work, they can do the attacking work, they can do the finishing, they can do the final ball. They do a lot of the grunt work that allows a team to be successful. And so to be a midfielder here, you've got to embrace that role, that all-action role, and that is something that I think our midfielders do really well. And I think that's a large reason that we've had success over the course of the last 2 years, is that our midfield's been able to compete with just about everyone that we're playing with. And I think a good team, you're going to find your potential if your midfield can be working at their level and at their potential level.
All right, can you look at the camera and give me a Go Dogs?
Yeah, let's go Dogs. Go Dogs.